Today I'm talking about 3 iconic movies about a very important dinner. And the names of those 3 movies are Guess Who's Coming to Dinner, Dinner for Schmucks, and My Dinner with Andre. First up is Guess Who's Coming to Dinner. This is a 1967 film starring Spencer Tracy, Sidney Poitier, and Katharine Hepburn. And the basic premise is Sidney is this well-respected doctor. Whilst at this thing in Hawaii, meets this beautiful young woman. And even though they've only known each other for 10 days, they've decided to get married. Now, even though her parents are very liberal, the idea of a black man marrying their little white daughter is cause for pause. So the course of the film is mostly the dad coming to terms with his daughter wanting to marry a black man. This was a strange movie to watch. It's an incredibly important film, and it made for an incredibly important discussion back in the 60s. Like, this movie came out the year that it nationally became legal for interracial marriage. I mean, they even make a point in the film, like, if you guys get married, what you're doing is illegal in 14 states. And it is 5 years before the Equal Rights Act passed as well. It was kind of a difficult film for me to watch because I just could not relate whatsoever. I could not imagine a scenario in which I bring home some controversial pick for a partner that's realistic that would give my parents the same response as the parents in this movie. Not to say that this isn't realistic. Like, no, this is definitely very true to life. It's just so far removed from my own experience of life that it was really hard for me to relate to it. And because of that, it was so hard to get sucked into it. Plus, like, I do object to these 2 people getting married because there is a 14-year age difference between the 2 of them, and they've only known each other for 10 days. Like, those 2 things in and of themselves are a recipe for disaster. That then coupled with the fact that everywhere they go, they're gonna get so much hate. Like, this relationship is without a doubt doomed to fail. It would definitely be easier in modern times, that's for sure, but considering what 1960s America looked like, I don't have great faith in them. Okay, all that being said, I did enjoy the movie a good solid amount. It was a quite liked for me, so that's basically a 4 out of 5. There were some really great, beautiful moments, like Spencer Tracy's last big monologue, of course, was fantastic. Sidney Poitier's mom in this, the character, she gave probably my favorite speech out of it because she was just talking about love, and that really struck a chord with me. Katharine Hepburn was really fun because she starts off so against it, but then quickly just gets wrapped up in the romance of it all, which I totally get. I can really feel myself there, and that's something that my mom would definitely do too. Like, just get so wrapped up in the beauty of the thing that you can ignore the red flags. And of course, everyone gave great performances, and like I said, this was a really important film. It was nominated for a lot of Oscars, and rightfully so. Like, this is a landmark film, no doubt. It just didn't connect to me because it's just so not what my life is. But I thankfully have very accepting parents that it would take a lot for them to reject the person that I would be romantically interested in. So yeah, no, I definitely recommend it. It's an important film that is well worth a watch. Just depending on your background, it might not really connect to you. I can definitely see it connecting with a lot of people because, like, you know, racism is still rampant today. If you have a different situation than me, I could see this easily being really relatable. It just wasn't to me, but I still enjoyed it a good solid amount. So yeah, no, it's a good film that I would recommend. Next up is Dinner for Schmucks. This is a 2010 film starring Steve Carell and Paul Rudd. The basic premise is Paul is this money guy thing and he wants to get a promotion. In order to get a promotion, he has to go to this party with his coworkers and boss where they always invite the biggest idiot, and then who's ever the biggest idiot of the night wins an award, and it's just an excuse to make fun of strange weirdos. This is very of its time. time. It has that strange quirkiness like Steve Carell's character really loves to make. Taxidermied mice in really funny scenarios. And a lot of the humor too feels very like late aughts. A lot of it didn't land for me, but like I like Steve Carell and Paul Rudd a lot, and even though this is more or less a stinker of a film, there were parts that I was charmed by. Like there is an emotional core to it, and at the very end of the film I super surprisingly got really emotional. It caught me so off guard too because I was a little zoned out. That being said though, I do feel like this movie could hit home to a very specific niche of people. It's like if you really loved comedies from the late aughts, like if you really like the random comedies that Steve Carell did outside of The Office, this could really strike a chord with you. So yeah, it's an okay-ish little film. I didn't really enjoy it, but it wasn't a bad time either. Yeah, I would say it's like a good background noise type of movie. Like you don't really have to be paying attention, and it can be on, and it can be like, oh yeah, that's kind of sort of funny a little bit. So yeah. And lastly is My Dinner with Andre. This is a 1981 film, and the basic premise is it's just two men talking while having dinner one evening. Oh my god, is this movie so pretentious. It is, without a doubt, the most pretentious film I have ever seen. Jesus Christ. And like, it's so frustrating as well. Because it's not awful. Like, the one character, Andre, has these really absurd stories that you never know where they're gonna go. You never know what he's gonna say next. The crazy adventures and shenanigans he's been up to. They're so captivating. But then Wallace, the guy he's talking to, is just awful. Like, Andre will tell this really ridiculous, absurd story. And then he gets to the end of it. It's clearly the end of the thing. And then Wallace will like take a bite of his soup. And then he'll be like, so what'd you do next? And I'm like, no, that is not how people talk to each other. If someone were to tell you a story half as interesting as what that guy just said, you would have a million questions. You would not just blow that off as if it was whatever. Like, no, it wasn't even him blowing it off. It's just like him prompting the other guy to do another story. So much of Wallace's dialogue doesn't feel like it's an actual response. It just feels like the writer knows what he wants Andre to say next, and he just needs the other guy to say something because it's just time for him to say something. So it doesn't feel like a natural, normal conversation. And on top of that, the way Wallace looks at Andre as he's talking endlessly on these big monologues, which again were interesting, is just not how people look at each other. What he would do the entire time is like he was sitting at the back of a classroom and he forgot his glasses and he can't quite make out what the chalkboard says. Like he's super squinting. And that's it. That's all he's doing. Like, that's what active engagement looks like. And he's just staring at him. But again, that's not how people talk to each other. When people talk to each other, yes, they look at each other, but then they also look around. Like, even when looking at a person's face, like they don't just stare at a single point. Their eyes go around their face. Like our eyes naturally just move a bunch. To stay focused in a one spot like what he's doing is incredibly unnatural. So like, even if his non-responses to stuff is an artistic choice, him just blankly staring at this guy is just poor direction. It's awful. And I don't think I've ever been so annoyed at watching someone eat. Like, dude's having soup and he's chewing with his mouth open. What is happening? What is going on? Stop it. I was just so beyond annoyed by this film. I get that it is liked, I get that it is interesting, I get that it is unique, and there are parts of it that I liked. But hot damn, I was so annoyed with this movie, I just could not. It gets my lowest ranking, it's a didn't like. I did not care for this movie. I don't recommend it either. Like, it is fascinating, but it's not worth it. No, it's so artificial and beyond pretentious that I can't in good faith recommend this to anyone. No. Alrighty, now for today's rankings. First up, we got Guess Who's Coming to Dinner, sitting at number 46 in the Quite Like section. And then after that is Dinner for Schmucks, sitting at number 87 in the Meh section. And then bringing up the rear, rightfully so, is My Dinner with Andre, sitting at number 96 in the Didn't Like section. And this is out of a total of 102 old movies so far this year.